All right, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. First of all, I apologize for being a little bit late. Thank you for bearing with me. Again, it just takes a little bit longer. They changed the YouTube upload process just a little bit, so it has a couple extra checks. You got to go through sort of like this list to make sure that your video is safe for YouTube and everything like that. So it just takes a little bit longer. But at the end of the day, I think it's actually better. And it's easier to get the videos kind of up, and then once they're up, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about them after that. So even though the process takes a little bit longer, I like that they go through that extra process. So anyway, first of all, thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you so much for your patience. I really appreciate it, and especially big thumbs up, no pun intended, to all the likes that we've been getting so far. Before I even started the stream, I saw we were already at 5 likes, and now I've been talking for about a minute and we're already at 8. So thank you so much, guys. As you guys know, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, almond milk. I hope I'm saying that right. Maybe I'll just, oh yeah, I believe that's right. Almond milk, thank you so much. I'll just keep continuing. Exactly right. We'll just continue with the topic at hand. And I think it's a pretty important topic, I have to say. So we got the poppy seed video up. I hope you guys enjoy that. Give that a like. I really enjoyed making it. If you could, please. And then today, again, another really important, just like we talked about for diabetes and for heart health and everything along that nature, digestive health, another really, really important topic is how we can keep our bones healthy, and not only keep them healthy but strengthen bones, especially as we start to get older. This is one of those things where we're seeing more and more people developing bone related ailments. So bone mineral loss, increased osteoporosis, increased bone fractures as we start to get older, and we're even seeing that in younger individuals as well, just like we are with heart health. And again, I think it's a mixture of two things from what we can see from the literature. Jay, welcome to the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good to see you, my friend. I think it's a couple things. It's a mixture of, one, we're just living longer, so that's a big one. All right, so we're living longer now. We're starting to see a little bit more osteoporosis and things of that, a little more bone mineral loss. But like I said, it's not just in older people or older individuals. It's also starting to be seen in younger individuals. Early osteoporosis, all right, early bone mineral loss and everything like that. We're seeing it in individuals that are around 50, 60. That's still very, very young. If we're thinking about life expectancy of over 80, almost 85 years old, if you're having bone mineral loss in your early 50s or mid 50s, that's a long time where you're going to be dealing with that. So I think we're not just living longer, but another big thing is lack of the right micronutrients. So what I really want to talk about today is the micronutrients that we're getting in, all right, and the micronutrients that we want to get in to make sure that we're strengthening the bones and improving bone health. So micronutrients is a very important one. And then also we can't forget lifestyle. And then maybe we'll start with that one. I always like to start with the lifestyle. All right, because I think the lifestyle complements the micronutrients so well. So if you're living a sedentary lifestyle, that's sort of what I'm talking about. All right, you can add all the foods that you want in, but those micronutrients probably aren't going to be as beneficial as we would like them to be, especially if we're very sedentary. Just like I talked a little bit about heart health, if we're sedentary, if we're not getting movement, and if we're obese or overweight, again, you can eat all of the healthy foods you want, but it's probably not going to be giving you the benefits that you're looking for. Sir Crutch, you can't milk an almond. All right, thank you for the comment. Jay, how's everyone? Yeah, I think everyone's doing good. If everyone can tell me where they're from in here, I would love that. I always love the engagement, knowing where people are from and everything like that. The location, it's really interesting for me to see where everyone's from. So if you could do that for me, please, as we start our discussion, that would be awesome. So I'm really excited to get onto this topic. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about the micronutrients that we're looking for improved bone health and to make sure our bones stay strong and healthy. Joshua, welcome, buddy. Good to see you. A welcome face as always, Joshua. Thank you so much for popping in. I really appreciate it. So let's go over the micronutrients, all right? Actually, before we do the micronutrients, let me just talk about the lifestyle real quick. Again, guys, I'm not calling it exercise. We're calling it movement. So we don't want to be sedentary 100% of the time, all right, or 90% of the time. Remember, all we're looking for is 150 minutes per week. So getting up and going for a walk, that's more than enough, all right? Walking is going to be included in that 150 minutes of walk time, all right, or of movement time. And it doesn't really necessarily mean that I would add it to, say, your daily regimen. Say you go grocery shopping or to the mall. Don't count that. That's not going to be counted to your 150 minutes of movement. All right, this is like going outside for a walk, maybe going for a little hike, something along those lines. You're going to be living your life. People will easily be like, oh, well, I'm getting my 150 minutes because I went grocery shopping today. All right, I went for a walk when I was at the mall, all of that different stuff. We're talking about 150 minutes of specific, all right, now's my time to get some movement in, all right, and it can be on a treadmill, it can be outside, you can use an elliptical. Again, it doesn't have to be intense. A lot of people think, well, I need 150 minutes of exercise. A lot of people think you got to be lifting weights, having resistance training. Yes, that's going to help. Resistance training is a big part of keeping our bones healthy and strong, so we definitely don't want to neglect that. All right, resistance training, and it doesn't have to be with weights. All right, I talk with a lot of individuals and do a lot of consultations where I talk about resistance bands and things of that nature. Maybe we can even have a whole topic on that alone. All right, just using resistance bands and things like that, not having to go into a gym where we're using barbells and dumbbells, but resistance training, very, very important for our bones as well, and keeping them strong. All right, reducing the risk of fractures as we get older, that type of stuff. Mushrooms, very good for strength of bone. Vitamin D, yeah, we'll get into that. Good start. Oat milk, we'll talk about that a little bit. All right. Chi-Town Blues, man. Nice. All right, so a little bit of movement is good. Go for your walks. If you want to, again, to improve bone health, a little bit of resistance training is not going to hurt. It's going to improve. All right, that's going to be one of the things. All right, even medical practitioners are starting to get on that bandwagon, as we're seeing in the literature. All right, a little bit of resistance training. Again, it doesn't have to be 150 minutes a week of resistance training. You can do an hour of resistance training, and then the rest of the time, I believe it would be like an hour and a half of walking. Mix it up a little bit. Don't be afraid to, try some new things out. You can find a ton of things on YouTube. You can ask here in chat. All right, I can give you a ton of different ideas. So a little bit of resistance training, that's going to help maintain strong bones. So we don't want to live a sedentary lifestyle. We need to get some movement, and we need to make sure as part of our lifestyle, we're taking in the right micronutrients that are bone healthy and going to help support strong bones and bone health. Okay, so that's my little rant on lifestyle. When it comes to lifestyle and improving bone health, all right, we can't underestimate the resistance training. Even though some people, might not be favorable to the resistance training or have never done it before, it can be quite hard, but you can do it in the safety of your own home. Again, you can buy resistance bands for $20 on Amazon or at any store. Amazon's kind of nice with everything that's going on right now. You guys know what I'm talking about and referring to. And then they're like $20, so they're very cheap. And then you can just watch a YouTube video showing you basic movements with resistance bands. Okay, so keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to try something new. But if we want to keep our bones healthy, cartilage healthy, tendons healthy, all of that other stuff too that goes along with it, all right, add on a little bit of muscle mass. That's all important as we get older, and it's going to relate into nice bone health too. So a little bit of resistance training, very nice. Thank you for the thumbs up, guys. 13, I love it. Thank you very much. Now, I got my little spiel out of the way, and don't be afraid to ask on resistance training, guys. All right. If you have any questions related to that or into the movement or lifestyle, not living a sedentary lifestyle, we can always discuss that a little bit more. But a topic at hand, foods to strengthen bones, foods to improve bone health. Let's talk about the micronutrients. What are the best micronutrients for bone health? All right. Now, the first one that you've probably heard of, all right, and you probably know, you'll want to focus, your main focus will probably be on calcium. All right, so we'll want to include, and we'll go over a bunch of foods that are going to be high in these micronutrients, but let's just specifically narrow down so we can simplify it, all right, because I could just start listing off the foods, but if we don't know why and what micronutrients they contain, it's not going to be too helpful, or it might be a little bit confusing. At least it would be for me, so I'm going to simplify it just a little bit. All right, so there's some special micronutrients that we're looking for. The first one, obviously, calcium. Calcium is going to be your big micronutrient. All right. I'm trying to cut out cow's milk. That's okay. All right. You can get calcium from a number of different sources, Jay. All right. And we'll go over that. All right. And one of my favorite is broccoli. All right. And we'll go over all these different foods. So if you're living a lifestyle or having a diet that doesn't include dairy or anything like that, trust me, I got ideas for you. So no worries. If you're not a cow's milk fan, there's going to be tons of food for you. All right, and you're right. It's never too late to change your lifestyle. I've worked with individuals that were almost in their 80s, that were in their late 70s. It's never too late to change. And even if they were in their 80s, you can still continue to make changes. All right, food intake. When I say change in lifestyle, yeah, food intake and exercise or movement. All right, both, Jay. All right, both. Like I said, I've worked with both in both capacities, so it's never too late. Don't think just because I'm 60, it's too late to get the movement in. All right, or I'm 70, movement's not for me. Resistance training, wouldn't think of it. I've seen great changes in people who are in their late 70s, all right, closing in on 80s, who have made great progress with resistance training, and for them, it's the most important. All right, as we get older, we know osteoporosis, bone mineral density loss becomes more prominent. That's when we're going to really want to make sure that we're probably focusing on it the most, especially if you've been neglecting it early in life. All right, so we know calcium, all right, and most studies are showing this. All right, so foods that are high in calcium, all right, that's kind of, I think calcium sort of, as the literature sort of demonstrates, is considered the most important micronutrient when it comes to bone strength, all right? Bone strength and healthy bones. So calcium's your big one, guys. You'll want to pay attention to that one, probably the most. So calcium is very important. Now, someone said in chat, I believe it was Joshua, so we know we have calcium. Hey, no problem, Jay. Thanks for the comments. All right, if you didn't say that, then I wouldn't have been able to make my comment as well. So thank you for bringing that up. Now, another important one, all right, which is going to be improving bone health and, very important for bone health is vitamin D. All right, now, for vitamin D, that's kind of the one that we're really going to want to pay attention to. Calcium, there's tons of foods that we can add to our diet. For vitamin D, you got to go outside and get sunlight. That's the best natural way to create vitamin D. All right, but for vitamin D, there are foods which we will discuss that are a good source of vitamin D, but what a lot of people will do, and probably the easiest and even the cheapest way to get vitamin D into your diet, is just to add a vitamin D supplement. There's so many studies coming out. I was watching a video yesterday on vitamin D, I think specifically on vitamin D3, and it doesn't really matter. Any vitamin D is fine in this scenario that we're talking about right now. But just how prominent and important and how let's not say cheap, but how cost efficient and how cost effective just supplementing with vitamin D is. It's not an expensive supplement like some of the other ones that we've talked about before in prior live chats. Supplementing with vitamin D is one of the easiest ones, most cost effective. I supplement with vitamin D. All right, I have it almost every day. I would talk to your medical practitioner in regards to how much vitamin D you should be supplementing with if you do choose to supplement with it. All right, make sure you talk with them. It just depends on, it can depend on a bunch of different factors. All right, so I won't say how much I take in, but as much as I take in, probably not going to be as much as maybe someone else in chat is going to take in, or one of my family members is going to take in. All right, so make sure that you talk to your medical practitioner in regards to that. I will say often recommended, it's like 1,000, 2,000 milligrams in there. Not milligrams. I was told that too much dairy is not good for us. Why is this? Well, we can get into that, Jay. And it depends, what's the definition of too much? All right. A lot of people will throw out sort of these statements without backing it up with certain claims or without backing it up with certain numbers. Too much dairy for some people could be a glass of milk, especially if they have a sensitivity to it. Whereas too much dairy, they could eat 3 meals. They could have cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, cereal, a glass of milk, and be just fine. So it just sort of depends. A lot of the times it can have to do with hormones in milk and sensitivities and all of that different stuff. So, if they say too much dairy, well, what is too much dairy? It depends on the type of it depends on each person, right? And what their diet's looking like. But that's a great question. All right, so we have calcium for strong bones. That's probably the most important micronutrient. All of these are important, but calcium is always probably the first one listed. Next is going to be vitamin D, guys. We already mentioned vitamin D, and you can supplement with it. You don't have to overdo it on vitamin D. Talk to your medical practitioner, because you see, and I'm not giving you specifics right now. I'm just telling you things that I've seen. I've seen videos out there, with people having 10,000 IUs of vitamin D a day. I would never recommend that to any of you. I would recommend talking to your medical practitioner and see what's safe for you. All right. And I'm just relaying that out to you because it varies, just how much it varies from person to person. So make sure you talk to your medical practitioner. All right. I'm not anywhere close to that. I'll let you guys know for sure. That's quite a bit. All right. So another important one, we have vitamin D. All right. Vitamin D is an important one. Now, another one that you guys might already know, but especially important for strong bones, is magnesium. And the great thing about magnesium is it's found in a lot of different foods. All right, magnesium, manganese, things of that nature. If you watch the poppy seed video today, all right, poppy seeds are a great source of manganese. I think that's one of the highest micronutrients found in it. I believe that it was. So manganese, magnesium, things like that, very easy to intake. And you can always use a magnesium supplement as well. Magnesium, is, again, very cost effective. So magnesium, very important for strong, healthy bones. Calcium, vitamin D, magnesium. Let's move right on to the next one, guys. We're going to keep rolling. All right, so magnesium is an important one. Now, this one, you might not, I've mentioned this in my videos all the time, and I'll usually say surprising to most people because I found this one surprising, right? One that I hadn't really considered before. All right, another important one is phosphorus. And again, phosphorus is found in more foods than you actually think. All right, phosphorus can be quite easily to add. So you don't need, I wouldn't recommend, I don't even know if there's a good one out there. I've never supplemented with it, but getting phosphorus into the diet is not tough. I'm 73 and don't have a doctor. I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Hopefully, you can talk with a medical practitioner where you are. I would always recommend it, especially when it comes to chronic diseases and everything like that, guys. Speak with your medical practitioner about it. And look at that, 17 thumbs up, and we're at just crossed 19 minutes. You guys are almost giving a thumbs up for every minute that we've been going on there. So thank you so much, guys. You guys know how much I love the thumbs up. 30 is always our goal. I appreciate you guys. You guys are rocking it today. So phosphorus is another important one and often forgotten one, a micronutrient I'm referring to, when it comes to healthy bones. All right. So I would call those your main four. All right, your main four, and then I'm going to give you a fifth one, which is probably the fifth just as important as these other ones as well. All right, so calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, phosphorus. All right, those are very important for healthy bones. All right, those are going to be the micronutrients that we want to focus on. So we want to focus on foods that are high in those types of micronutrients so we can strengthen our bones, all right, and keep our bones healthy and reduce bone-related ailments. Remember, there's tons of bone-related ailments. Bone mineral loss, a loss of bone density, all right, osteoporosis, things of that nature. All right, even like bone fractures become way more common as we get older and our bones weaken. All right, and those are things that we want to stay away from. All right, fractures can really hamper not only quality of life, but even length of life. All right, and it's not an easy thing for me to say, saying that, but I feel like it's almost a duty for me to point that out because there's tons of studies that show that the older you are, let's say for a hip fracture or something like that, we see that it's very tough on individuals that are older who have to deal with hip fractures, wrist fractures, things like that for falls and that type of stuff. So we want to make sure that we're limiting that as often as possible, getting in these important micronutrients. All right, now let's talk about the other ones because you guys know I don't like to create a huge umbrella. Some of them will say zinc, some of them will say copper, even some of them will say vitamin C. Those aren't the ones that I would focus on. I would focus on calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, phosphorus, and then the last one, vitamin K. Okay, focus on those 5 because people will throw all the micronutrients in there. Of course, all the micronutrients are going to have benefits, but these are the important ones. Zinc, even a little bit to a certain extent. All right, maybe zinc, but I wouldn't include that in the top 5. I would count calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, phosphorus, and vitamin K. Those are going to be the micronutrients that you're going to want to focus on the most. What about grass-fed bone broth? With bone broth, I have seen some studies out there that show its benefits for bone health, which is kind of nice. It just depends what bones are in there. The study that I read was that it can help strengthen bones by increasing bone mineral density, Susan. So I think that's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. So bone broth, we'll get into the different foods and things like that. But again, depending on what bones are in there, all right, bone broth, we can add this kind of as our first food. All right, it does have the ability to be effective at strengthening the bones and, most importantly, increasing bone mineral density. Now, again, we have to preference. Like I'll always make sure that I make this reference. Just because you're eating these foods doesn't mean that you will 100% not get these chronic diseases. It limits the risk factors for developing osteoporosis, for losing bone mineral density. All right. But we see that bone broth can help, build muscle. All right. Increase bone mineral density, all right, and prevent osteoporosis. I didn't see anything having to do with any other bone-related ailments, but I think bone broth is a good one, Susan. All right, and often forgotten. And bone broth is one of those foods that's really seen a jump in popularity over the last couple of years. So I think I've done at least one video on bone broth, so bone broth is a good one for bone health, strengthening the bones and for overall bone health. So good one, Susan. Thank you so much for the thumbs up, guys. Really appreciate it. Now let's talk. We know the micronutrients. All right, so we know the micronutrients now. Let's talk about some of the important foods, all right, that can help strengthen the bones and improve overall bone health. Now, we mentioned the lifestyle. All right, we mentioned strength training. All right, that's the big one. All right, That's going to be one of the most important things for maintaining and building strong bones, especially as we get older. All right, it doesn't have to be like huge amounts of weight or high impact exercise, anything like that. Just use bands. All right, any resistance strength training is going to be helpful. All right, so I would go with that. All right, resistance training would be a good one. All right, so let's talk about, again, some of the foods. All right, so some of the foods, you will want to limit dairy, but dairy is going to be one of, your best bone building micronutrients, and foods that are high in calcium are going to be some of your best bone building foods and strengthening of the bones. So what are some ways that we can do that? How can we get, healthy foods that are high in calcium into our diet? Well, milk is probably the easiest one. All right, milk is probably the easiest one that we can add into our diet. All right, I wouldn't necessarily recommend cheese. Cheese is high in saturated fats. All right, it's high in calories. All right, so I wouldn't recommend probably that one. What I would probably recommend, all right, if you are having milk, try not to have this fat-free mentality where you're getting skim milk, even 1% milk. Everyone was always scared of milk fats and things of that nature. All right, you can go for a 2% milk. 2% milk is just fine. Tons of calcium in there. All right, less milk sugars than if it was skim milk and things like that. So a nice 2% milk is just fine. Another good one is yogurt. All right, so healthy yogurt, plain yogurt, if you can, plain, even Greek yogurt, things of that nature. Greek yogurt is an excellent source. I love Greek yogurt. That's why I'm probably going to make it number one. All right, the reason why, one of the highest sources of calcium, an excellent source of protein, which again is going to help with bones, all right, and strengthening our bones, especially if you're doing resistance training, all right, and everything of that nature. But we want to make sure, all right, if we're eating calcium, all right, some of these dairy products we're going to want to be adding to the diet if you are a fan of dairy. If you're not a fan of dairy, then we're going to be listing foods that we have that are high in calcium that aren't dairy. All right, so some of the easiest ones, again, 2% milk, all right, and then maybe even a Greek yogurt, a cottage cheese, things of that nature. All right, now let's go to another one. All right, for calcium. All right, for calcium, all right, let's not forget about nuts and seeds. All right, nuts and seeds are very high in calcium. All right, very, very high in calcium. That's why I love nuts and seeds. So your best nuts and seeds, if you don't drink milk, all right, the nuts and seeds that are going to be highest in calcium for you, they're going to be chia seeds, flax seeds. Again, I'd probably eat them if you want to have ground flax seeds, and pumpkin seeds, though, and even poppy seeds to a certain extent. All right, not quite as high as those other ones, but nuts and seeds, great choice. All right, for adding in calcium into your diet. All right, so again, if you're not a huge dairy fan, you can go ahead, eat nuts and seeds, have them in moderation. All right, but you're going to get a good source of calcium. All right, and that's why I love nuts and seeds. Again, you don't have to have the dairy, add the nuts and seeds. You got healthy fats. We'll talk a little bit more about nuts and seeds as we keep moving on. Again, dark leafy green vegetables, all right, very high in calcium. So they're great for supporting overall bone health. All right, dark leafy green vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, whatever you want to call them. All right, my favorite being for these ones, spinach is an awesome one. Broccoli is probably my favorite when it comes to calcium. All right, broccoli I always tend to lean towards. All right, broccoli is super high in calcium. All right, so I'd go with broccoli, kale, spinach. All right, and then maybe some cabbage. Cabbage is also very high in calcium as well. All right, we'll get more and more into these types of foods, all right, and why these ones are great as well. All right, now one more for calcium. All right, because let's keep it going, because I know not everyone is a milk fan or a milk junkie. All right, so we have our nuts and seeds. We have our cruciferous dark leafy green vegetables for calcium. Remember, this is one of the most important micronutrients, so this is why I'm kind of spending a little bit more time on it. So we have nuts and seeds, all right, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, maybe being your most important ones. All right, we have dark leafy green vegetables, all right, other than dairy. So dark leafy green vegetables, broccoli, kale, spinach, and then I'd probably add cabbage in there since that's very high in calcium as well. And then, all right, not only that, but we can also get legumes, all right, beans, things of that nature, very high in calcium, all right, a great source of calcium. All right, again, very underrated. All right, now they're not quite as high as the other ones that I've mentioned, but they are a good source of calcium, so it does help get that calcium in. So we have a little bit for everyone. So there's a nice complex carb, the other one was a vegetable, the other one was a nice healthy fat, and the first one was dairy. All right, so a little bit of something for everyone. And you're very welcome, Kim. My pleasure. Thank you for coming into chat. Sir, a fan of all nuts. With nuts and seeds, I'm the same. Just make sure, guys, you're eating them in moderation. Cashew nuts, are these good? Cashew nuts, I would say, they wouldn't be my first choice overall, Jay. They're a little bit higher in calories, a little bit higher in carbohydrates. When it comes to bone health, again, much lower in calcium, magnesium, all those important things that we're looking for. So cashew nuts wouldn't necessarily be on the list. They're not unhealthy, but when it comes to bone health, again, I would keep them off the list just a little bit. So there's your foods, guys. Like I told you, it's easy to add calcium. You don't have to, it can be in any diet. Vegan, vegetarian, keto, Mediterranean, paleo. There's foods out there for everyone to get calcium in. All right, I mean, veggies you can add into any diet. Nuts and seeds pretty much in any diet. I can't think of a diet that wouldn't have healthy fats in it and that wouldn't have vegetables in it. It's just it just doesn't come to mind. So those are some important ones, guys. So those are good ways to get calcium. Now let's keep the umbrella going just a little bit here. All right. So we had dairy probably being one of your best sources for bone building just because of calcium and the amount of calcium that's in dairy products. Again, if you're not a fan of calcium, I listed all those other foods that you're going to get. All right. But the other nice thing is sometimes when it comes to dairy products, all right, you're going to get a little bit of vitamin D as well. All right. There's vitamin D in, say, yogurt. Or even milk, all right? Like a 2% milk has really good levels of vitamin D in it, all right? You'd be surprised. Take a look at a label next time. But that's why I'd say if you do drink milk or if you are a dairy fan, again, keep cheese in moderation. But there's yogurts out there, low-fat yogurt, plain yogurt, 2% milk, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. Great source of calcium, but also vitamin D. And vitamin D, I'd probably put maybe second on that bone strength and bone healthy micronutrient list. So that's why I list dairy so high. Walnuts, the best source of omega-3. At least when it comes to non-fish or fatty fish, sir. When it comes to sort of for vegetarians and things like that. Yeah, walnuts are very high in omega-3s. Yeah, we've talked about that quite a bit in our live streams. Hey, no problem, Jay. My pleasure. That's my the whole goal of these streams, to kind of give you guys some ideas that maybe you hadn't thought of before. But are walnuts the best source of omega-3? They're a great source of it, but things like salmon, mackerel, sardines, those are going to be at the top of your list. All right, so calcium is a good one. Again, you're going to get that vitamin D. All right, and again, I would try to keep it. I wouldn't go necessarily super low fat when it comes to these foods. Like even with cottage cheese, I won't have skim or 1%. with milk, I don't usually have skim. Maybe I'll have 1% from time to time, but I don't have a bunch of milk or anything like that. But it is a great source of vitamin D and calcium, guys. Now, another nice food group that we can kind of include in an umbrella, all right, are nuts and seeds again, all right, especially for nuts, all right. So nuts are going to be one of your best bone strengtheners, all right, so bone mineral density, all right, and also just to prevent bone-related ailments like osteoporosis, all right, so helping us to keep strong bones, all right, and improving bone health, all right. So we had a couple people here who mentioned that they like nuts and seeds. This is going to be the good one for you guys, all right. Now, there's two main reasons. Nuts contain a lot of bone-healthy nutrients, all right. Remember I told you one of the ones that was very underlooked was phosphorus, all right, which was very important, all right. Well, what nuts, and most nuts are, it can be walnuts, it can be almonds, pecans, macadamia nuts, everything. You could list almost any sort of of nut, but it's going to be super, super high, all right, in magnesium and phosphorus, all right, magnesium and phosphorus. So two essential bone healthy nutrients. So that's why nuts are so important. Hello, watching from North Carolina. Well, thank you so much for letting me know. I love when everyone lets me know where they're watching from. Evelyn, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And welcome to the chat. I hope you're enjoying. And if anyone else wants to let me know where they're watching from, that would be great. So you have someone from North Carolina. I think someone else had mentioned a little bit earlier, Chicago, I believe. So awesome to always hear. And we're at 19 thumbs up. Wow, shooting up super fast, guys. Thank you so much. So nuts are super high in magnesium and phosphorus, two bone healthy essential nutrients, all right? Now, the nice thing is, all right, nuts also contain a little bit of calcium, all right? And the great thing is, when you combine magnesium and phosphorus from nuts, guess what the magnesium does? And this is why I pointed it out in one of the most important micronutrients when it comes to strengthening bones and bone health, is magnesium helps with the absorption of calcium in the bones. All right, so that's super important. So let's keep that in mind as we're talking here. That's why I listed those 5 micronutrients. Magnesium was on there, phosphorus was on there, and calcium. But magnesium is so important, and magnesium is so important for so many bodily functions, like hundreds of bodily functions. All right, and the absorption of calcium into our bones is one of them. All right. Now, phosphorus is also very, very important. Remember I said phosphorus was one of the most underrated micronutrients when it came to bone health? Man, you guys just jumped it up to 21. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Remember when I mentioned phosphorus was one of the ones that people don't often think of when it comes to bone health and strengthening the bones? Well, we know, United Kingdom, that's awesome. All the way out there in EU. Thank you so much for watching, my friend. Thanks, guys. I love hearing where everyone's from. So the best thing is, with nuts, and again, pecans, almonds, walnuts, pistachios, keep it in moderation, guys. We always want to keep it in moderation because they are high in calories. It is healthy fats, but again, higher in calories. All right. The reason why phosphorus is such a key component to healthy bones, think about this. 85% of the phosphorus in our body is found in our bones, and then the rest found in our teeth. Okay, so there's a huge proportion of phosphorus when we intake it, all right, that's actually within our bones. So what that's telling us is to have strong, healthy bones, we need phosphorus in our diet. If we're not getting phosphorus, obviously we're not going to be having bone health, because 85% of the phosphorus in our body is in the bones and then the rest in the teeth. All right, so how amazing is that? So that's why we need phosphorus. That's probably one of the most important micronutrients. I already listed the 5. If you guys need me to go over them or anything like that, you guys just let me know, because those 5 are super important, and phosphorus was the one that I told you guys is maybe the one that's overlooked the most. I don't think a lot of people know that 85% of phosphorus is in the bones and teeth. Very, very interesting. No sugar. Caribbean. Welcome from the Caribbean. I love it. What? Hey, how's it going, Greg? Things are good here. Thank you so much for asking. From Arizona. Nice. Bet you're getting some good weather down there. Awesome. I'm maybe a little bit jealous. Probably a little bit warmer than it is here. Go Cardinals. So great. Thank you guys for letting me know. I love hearing from people all over the world, watching and listening to the stream, watching the videos. It's a great feeling just knowing that this information is getting out there. So thank you so much, guys, for that. But I mean, how amazing is that? So magnesium is going to help with the absorption of calcium into the bones, all right, specifically into the bones, all right? So keeping our bones healthy, keeping our bones strong, reducing the risk of bone mineral density loss, reducing the risk of osteoporosis, especially as we get older. All right, and then phosphorus, key component of bones. 85% of phosphorus is found in bones and the teeth. All right, I don't know exactly the different amount, but I know a large portion of that 85% is in the bones. All right, so you can have a bunch of different nuts. All right, we'll get to seeds here in a second, but like I said, walnuts, almonds, pecans, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, and then maybe if we were going to throw another one in, peanuts would probably be another good one. Peanuts are a good source of both magnesium and phosphorus. And I actually just made a peanut video talking about that. Kim, California, very nice. I want to say exactly. Is it San Clemente, I believe. I think I got the Clemente right. San Clemente, I think, just not 100%. I think it's San Clemente, I believe. But welcome to all the way from California. Evelyn from North Carolina. Awesome. Go Tar Heels. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing that. I love the engagement. So again, nuts, very, very important. Just make sure that you're having them in moderation. One of my favorites, and this is why I always say, guys, if I was to recommend one vegetable, it would be broccoli. If I was to recommend one nut, it would be almonds. All right, you guys see these come up time and time again when it comes to chronic diseases and just improving our overall health. All right, so these are the ones that almonds are a great choice, but you can't go wrong with walnuts, pecans, things like that. Super high in magnesium. All right, so that would be one, Jay, that's nice and high in magnesium. There's a ton of foods. We'll get to beans. Beans are one of the best magnesium foods that you can eat. So we'll get there as well. All right, but nuts, awesome magnesium source. All right, and again, some of the ones we mentioned, walnuts, almonds, pecans, very high in magnesium and phosphorus, and that's super important for strengthening the bones and keeping our bones healthy. All right, so nuts are very, very important. All right, so we can keep it under the umbrella just a little bit. Let's do the same for seeds. All right, now why are seeds important? And it's specific seeds. One of my favorite ones, all right, one of my favorite seeds for bone health are pumpkin seeds, guys. Pumpkin seeds and chia seeds. Super, super healthy for our bones, for strengthening the bones and reducing the risk factors for bone-related ailments. And remember, those are going to be your fractures, your osteoporosis, bone mineral density loss. All right, bone mineral density loss is what we're starting to see at such a young age now. More and more people having to deal with bone mineral loss, finding it in their 50s, even late 40s, things of that nature. And a lot of it, that's why we talked about the lifestyle changes and the micronutrients at the very beginning. That's why I started it off with that. Now, why do I like seeds so much? Why are seeds so important for strengthening the bones and for keeping bones healthy? we'll get into that. Just let me catch up on a couple of comments here. Thanks, guys, for keeping it moving here. Is it okay to take calcium, vitamin D, phosphorus, and calcium all in one? So calcium, vitamin D, phosphorus all in one tablet. If you can find one, haven't seen calcium, vitamin D, and phosphorus all in one tablet, Evelyn. Do you have one like that? And I've never taken, I've never supplemented with phosphorus. Now, don't forget, if you're eating these foods, you're gonna be getting nice vitamin D. Maybe the one that you might want to be supplementing with is vitamin D, maybe calcium if to a certain extent. All right, you don't necessarily need to if you're getting enough nuts and seeds, dark leafy green vegetables, things of that nature. I would do it that way rather than supplementing. If I was going to supplement with anything, it would probably be vitamin D, especially if you're living in an area. I know in North Carolina, you're probably getting lots of sun, but if you're not getting a ton of sun, you're going through winters and things like that, you're definitely probably going to want to, maybe not definitely, but maybe something you're going to want to talk to your medical practitioner about is taking enough vitamin D, so supplementing with that. But I would try to get them through food if you can, Evelyn. You can get them just from a little bit of nuts and seeds, all right, every single day, and through dark leafy green vegetables. You're going to get all of those multi-mineral tablets. Okay. And again, if you think you're low, then talk to your medical practitioner about adding those in. But I think you can do a good job with phosphorus, calcium, and then maybe supplementing with the vitamin D, because calcium and phosphorus are found in so many different foods. Like I think with calcium, I probably listed 12, and there's way more than that. With phosphorus, I think I listed somewhere around 8. Don't forget, all nuts are going to have a little bit of phosphorus in it. Pretty much all seeds are going to have a little bit of phosphorus in it as well. So if you're doing a good job getting in those healthy fats, you're going to be doing just fine with phosphorus. All right. I hope that helped answer a little bit. What if you have allergies to nuts? If you have allergies to nuts, then do not eat. Kim, you're very welcome. Thank you for the comment. Yeah, if you have any allergies, especially, or even sensitivities, stay away 100%. I said that in my peanut video. I made sure to point that out because that's not something you want to fool around with. If you have allergies or anything like that, make sure you talk to your medical practitioner and make sure that you stay safe because it's very, very serious. What are the alternatives to almonds? If you're only allergic to almonds, there's tons of alternatives to almonds, Jay, especially for healthy bones. Walnuts was one of them. Pecans was one of them. Walnuts can even be one of them. And then also don't forget, don't just limit yourself to nuts. Like even though it can be peanuts, walnuts, pecans, don't forget you can have seeds, and we'll get into that here. So let's talk a little bit about seeds. Don't ever think you have to limit yourself to just one thing. Like although almonds are my favorite, it doesn't mean that that's the only one that's going to be helpful when it comes to strengthening the bones and improving bone health. My pleasure, Evelyn. Thank you for the question. So let's talk a little bit about seeds, guys. All right, so what are some of the best seeds? But first, let's talk about why seeds are important for bone health. All right, seeds, very similar to nuts. All right, remember we talked about the healthy micronutrients that you're going to be wanting to get for healthy bones. This is very, very important. I cannot understate it enough. All right, the people who are dealing most likely, again, it's not 100%. So we can't say just because they're deficient in a certain micronutrient that 100% was the cause. There's 100% correlation to osteoporosis. But we do know that if there's a deficiency in calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, vitamin D, that can increase the risk factors of certain bone-related ailments. Oh, no problem, Jay. My pleasure. Thank you again for asking as well. All right, so why are seeds so important? And we'll go over some of the seeds. All right, seeds are great in general. They're a lot of them can be actually considered a superfood. Same with a nut, like almonds would be considered a superfood. But with seeds, very high in calcium. So remember, all right, that's why I was kind of saying, Evelyn, if you're doing a good job eating your nuts and seeds, you're going to be getting these micronutrients. That's why I said the one that you might want to, unless you're drinking, unless you're like a dairy fan or you're eating fatty fish, which we'll get into here in a second because I'm going to go over vitamin D foods. All right, but seeds are very high in calcium. Again, maybe the most important one. Magnesium, again, which is a very important one. And phosphorus. All right, so tremendous micronutrients when it comes to strengthening the bones and increasing bone health, all right, which is amazing. All right, so seeds are another important one here, guys. Nuts and seeds. Can't underestimate them. All right. Another thing I'd like to point out is our diets are always super low when it comes to healthy fats. Maybe not everyone in here because you guys are on a foods channel, but when I do normal consultations with people who, aren't as into the diet or aren't into mindful eating and things like that, seeds, like the ones I'm going to list off, very high in omega-3 fatty acids, which are super, super healthy for us for a number of different reasons, especially for chronic diseases, even for mood, inflammation, all of that stuff. All right. But what we're seeing as some of the best seeds when it comes to calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus, you guys can write these down because there might be one or two that you didn't really think of. All right. I'm going to give you one that might be the best, which I don't think anyone would guess. I could maybe let you guess. Maybe give it a quick guess, guys. We'll give it like 10 seconds because I really want to go over this. This is why I do the lives, because I'm going to give you one that is maybe the best seed that you can eat for bone health that maybe no one has really even thought of. It's almost similar to when we were talking about micronutrients, and phosphorus is probably one of the important ones, most important ones. Because we know phosphorus, our bones are made up, the phosphorus in our body, 85% is in our bones and teeth. So give it a guess, guys. It could be any type of seeds. There's no wrong answer. I'm sure the ones that you say are going to be on the list, but I just want to see if anyone can perhaps guess what probably the best seed is for overall bone health. I'll give you guys a second here as I take just a quick sip of coffee. And thank you so much for the 22 thumbs up, guys. We are literally 8 away from our goal. You guys are crushing it. All right, so let's talk a little bit of seeds here. I don't think we have any guesses. I see Jay had a couple up there already with his guess, but let's talk about the most important ones. I'll save the best one for last. So some of the best seeds, almost like walnuts, we already know that they were a good one. They were included in our nuts. But some of the best seeds that you can eat for healthy bones, all right, are chia seeds. Chia seeds are especially important. All right, why? Because again, they're a good source of calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. So chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, and then here's the one I don't think too many people would guess. If I had you guys guess, I don't know if people would guess this one. If anyone wants to take a quick stab at it, maybe give it out. I already gave you 3. So chia seeds is off the list, flax seeds is off the list, and pumpkin seeds are off the list. Those are great ones because those are some of the highest ones in calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. Some of the 3 of the 5 important micronutrients that we're looking for. Brazil nuts, that's a great guess. Pumpkin seeds, yes, Evelyn. Awesome one. All right, that's great guesses. Brazilian nuts is a great guess. All right, Brazilian nuts are super, super. And thank you so much, guys. 25 thumbs up. Man, that jumped up quick. I just looked now. Brazilian nuts is a great guess, Evelyn. Brazilian nuts are super healthy for you. Super high in selenium. a bunch of other micronutrients, things of that nature. Pumpkin seeds, yes, on the list. So you nailed it with pumpkin seeds, Evelyn. All right, so thank you so much, Evelyn, for guessing. Probably the most important one here, guys, which we cannot overlook, is sesame seeds. Sesame seeds are one of the best seeds when it comes to strengthening the bones and improving bone health. All right, I don't know. I always get excited when I kind of throw one out there. I don't know if people might have already known that. I didn't necessarily know that when I was doing the research. I know chia seeds. All right, I knew chia seeds were up there and flax seeds were up there. Pumpkin seeds probably too, because pumpkin seeds, some consider them to be a superfood. But the one that really surprised me was sesame seeds. Sesame seeds are a tremendous source of calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. 1 ounce. All you need is 1 ounce of sesame seeds, and you don't even need that. All right, you can have less than 1 ounce. So that's why I'm talking about, guys. You don't need to eat these in large amounts. All right, but sesame seeds, like I said, probably some of your best sources out of any, not even just seeds, but of any food choice of calcium and magnesium. All right, calcium and magnesium. And remember, magnesium is going to help with the absorption of calcium. So we already know that sesame seeds are super high in calcium, super high in magnesium. Magnesium is going to increase the absorption of calcium into the bones, all right, which is tremendous. All right, and then it's also a great source of phosphorus. So we're getting those 3 micronutrients, 3 out of the 5 most important ones already, just on sesame seeds. Patricia, you nailed it. I see sesame seeds there. Maybe you just came in, but Patricia, you got the sesame seeds there. Sometimes I miss chat. Tammy, how you doing? Good to see you. Pleasure as always. Thank you so much. You know what's funny, guys? Every time before I come out, and thank you so much for the 26 thumbs up. We were literally almost there. I said 22, like it feels like a minute ago. But the funny thing is, every time I always do these chats, I have 3 Brazil nuts before I come out, with a little bit of walnuts as well. So it's funny. That's why I said, Evelyn, Brazil nuts is a great guess. They're super, super healthy for you. Keep them in moderation, though. Don't forget that, guys. All you need is 1 to 3, especially if you're eating them regularly. If you're eating them regularly, 1 to 2. You don't need a lot. They're so nutrient dense. I wouldn't eat any more than that. 1 to 3 is usually more than enough. And like I said, if you're eating them daily, I wouldn't eat any. I would definitely not recommend eating more than that. So sesame seeds is the last one. Yeah, little seed, very powerful, especially when it comes to bone health, Tammy. Absolutely. All right, great source. One of the highest seeds sources of calcium and magnesium, 2 of the most important micronutrients when it comes to bone health. And then again, remember, magnesium is going to help with the absorption of calcium, which is great. That's why I love magnesium. Is so awesome. It has so many important bodily functions, and it's also a great source of phosphorus. So that little sesame seed, all right, the one, I got excited just before telling you guys, because I did not know that sesame seeds were so important for bone health. So I was kind of excited to share that with you guys. But yeah, sesame seeds, a great choice for bone health. And again, you don't have to eat them in large amounts. All right, a tablespoon will do. All right, everyone always thinks that when I recommend a food or something like that, I've said this before, but they think that, for turmeric, I'm suggesting 2 tablespoons of turmeric or something like that to get the benefits out of it. But unless you're cooking a meal that you're going to be eating every day for a week, I only have half a teaspoon of turmeric a day. All right? And if I have a turmeric tea, I don't even have that half a teaspoon. So you don't have to eat things that are super nutrient dense and have a lot of bioactive compounds and things of that nature in large amounts. You're going to get the benefits from it just by eating it consistently. Consistency is the key. So there we go. We got nuts and seeds. Let's get into some dark leafy green vegetables, guys. Remember, we're going to get into another important one. Remember the other micronutrients that I said were important, probably the 5th. So I've mentioned a lot about calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. especially with the nuts and seeds. Let's get a little bit more, all right, into some of those. We're still going to talk about those, but let's get into some vitamin K. All right, because we haven't talked a lot about vitamin K yet, and we need some foods that are high in vitamin K. Vitamin K, very important for our bones. I'll just one off the top of my head, all right, because we're talking about dark leafy green vegetables, but just one off the top of my head, which isn't going to be included in dark leafy green vegetables, a superfood, and this is why I include this food in all of my superfood lists. Again, I don't like lists that include like 75 foods as a superfood. You're just diluting the word. But blueberries are a great source of vitamin K. So if you want to increase your vitamin K, blueberries are a good choice for that. All right, now let's talk a little bit about some dark leafy green vegetables that are going to be helpful for bone strength, increasing bone strength, and increasing bone health. All right, two very important things, especially as we get older, and even we're seeing in younger populations now. So let's go over the first one. Remember the first one that I said was broccoli. We know some of the foods, okay? Some of the foods, some of the ones you can probably guess. If I let you guys guess this one, I bet you guys would be naming them right off. The king, all right, the one that you've seen a huge increase in popularity with kale. You've seen a huge increase in popularity with spinach. But the one that I always say is the king is broccoli, all right? And the reason for broccoli, all right, super high in vitamin K. All right, super high in vitamin K and super high in calcium. So boom, two of our micronutrients, probably the most important micronutrients for bone-related health. All right. So broccoli you cannot go wrong with. All right. Now, excuse me. Why am I saying broccoli is one of the best ones, and why am I pointing out that vitamin K is high in broccoli and calcium is high in broccoli? Remember, for calcium, a lot of people, there's a lot of people that don't drink or eat dairy. All right, we have to keep that in mind, or don't eat it in large amounts. All right, and dairy, remember we talked a little bit for calcium, great source of calcium, but you don't need to eat calcium. We just listed a whole bunch of nuts and seeds that were very high in calcium. We just listed broccoli, super high in calcium. But broccoli is a great source of both vitamin K and calcium. All right, so two very important nutrients when it comes to supporting overall bone health. All right, and two nutrients that can increase bone health. So increase the health of our bones, which is important because say maybe we have a little bit of bone mineral loss. All right, if we're sort of at late stages of bone mineral loss, it might be a little bit tough to reverse. But if we're getting on it early, all right, broccoli can be very important for kind of reversing that and increasing bone health, especially with its vitamin K and calcium. All right, now why am I bringing up vitamin K and calcium? Because vitamin K works with calcium. All right, they work together. All right, they're like the yin and the yang, or maybe the yin and the yang is the opposite. Maybe that's not the right metaphor that I'm looking for. But vitamin K is going to assist calcium in building healthy bones. All right, so vitamin K and calcium go together and it's very important for them, all right, to increase bone health. So vitamin K will actually assist calcium, maybe your most important micronutrient, in building healthy bones. So how amazing is that? That's why I always say broccoli is probably at the top of the food chain, no pun intended, when it comes to dark leafy green vegetables. So you're getting a great amount of vitamin K, great amount of calcium in broccoli. And then remember that vitamin K is assisting and helping calcium to improve bone health, all right, and help to prevent bone-related ailments. All right, and you can say that about a lot of different dark leafy green vegetables. All right, you could say that about kale, you could say that about spinach. Cabbage was the other one that we looked at, all right, which is just amazing. All right, also, the other good thing about vitamin K and why broccoli and these dark leafy green vegetables are so important, we want to talk about strengthening of the bones and improving bone health. All right, improving bone health is a huge probably topic that we're really discussing today. The thing that we're finding out, and this is why I mentioned vitamin K as number 5 on our micronutrient list for healthy bones, we know and we've seen in studies now that a lack of vitamin K can be a risk factor and has been associated. So a deficiency in vitamin K has been associated with bone-related ailments such as osteoporosis and fractures. All right. And that's a pretty new study that came out. All right. And it was pretty interesting to actually read. So we want to make sure that vitamin K, we're getting enough vitamin K. And that's why I pointed out blueberries, because if you're not a huge fan of dark leafy green vegetables, blueberries are an important one that you can have as well. But this is why I always say, guys, broccoli is the top of the food chain. Spinach, kale, they all have very high, especially spinach. Spinach is, and especially kale too, very high in vitamin K. So it's very important to make sure that we're getting enough vitamin K in our diet to make sure that we're having healthy bones. Because if we're not getting that micronutrient, we already know and we've seen from studies that we're increasing risk factors for osteoporosis and from fractures. And I'm sure from we're increasing other risk factors for other bone-related ailments, which we do not want. All right, so make sure you're getting that vitamin K in. So again, the best dark leafy green vegetables are going to be broccoli, are going to be spinach, are going to be kale, things of that nature. All right. Now, the other thing, all right, some people will say that for dark leafy green vegetables, vitamin C and everything like that with the antioxidants are important. But I'd say another antioxidant, and remember, vitamin A is an antioxidant, is also a bone-friendly micronutrient. And there's some good vitamin A found in these dark leafy green vegetables. But also, don't forget, not only are we getting vitamin K, we are also getting, all right, bone-strengthening calcium and magnesium. So again, vitamin K, calcium, and magnesium in these dark leafy green vegetables. Vitamin K maybe being the most important one, since we haven't heard of vitamin K in any of these other foods that we've mentioned. So we need to eat the dark leafy green vegetables so that we can increase our vitamin K intake. But then also, not only are we getting vitamin K, let's just say in broccoli, but again, kale, spinach, cabbage. All right, you're going to get calcium and magnesium. And remember, the magnesium is going to help the absorption of calcium. Super important. Remember, calcium is maybe our most important micronutrient when it comes to overall bone health. And thank you so much for those 28 likes, guys. We are literally 2 away from our goal for the day. Geez, you guys are just crushing it on the thumbs up today. I really appreciate it. Really enjoying this chat so far and really enjoying this engagement. So thank you very much, guys. So that's why dark leafy greens are so important as well. Vegetables, you can't go wrong. You really can't eat too much. Just be careful. I will say, if you're on some certain medications, make sure you speak with your medical practitioner, because vitamin K can interfere with certain medications. And these are super high in vitamin K. So you just want to make sure that you're safe. Stay safe, guys. Speak with your medical practitioner and just make sure that the vitamin K amounts are right for you. So dark leafy green vegetables, guys, super important. Now let's go. One we haven't really talked about. This nutrient, we already mentioned, we can supplement it with it, but it is literally necessary, all right, an essential, vital, whatever word you want to use, for strong, healthy bones, and that's vitamin D. Again, we can supplement with it if we want, but there are foods that we can consume that are high in vitamin D. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about what some of them are. All right. We mentioned in our dairy products that there is going to be some vitamin D found in that, along with calcium. But we also know that not everyone is a fan of dairy products, or maybe they're not on a diet that includes dairy. So let's talk about some other options. So some other foods that are high in in vitamin D is going to be fatty fish. All right, fatty fish, really underrated, guys. Are you guys starting to notice sort of almost like every single it's almost a trend, really, when we're talking about fatty fish, because fatty fish, we talked a little bit about omega-3 fatty acids in them before and everything like that. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to get enough vitamin D. All right. If you're in an area where you can get a lot of sunshine, all right, make sure you're getting enough sun. All right. That's going to help with vitamin D. You can supplement with vitamin D. And we already talked about how vitamin D was one of the most cheapest and easiest supplements to take. All right. So you can always supplement with vitamin D. But fatty fish is another food group, all right, that's going to be high in vitamin D. All right. And we already know that vitamin D is essential once it comes to, remember, it was one of our 5 essential nutrients when it comes to building strong, healthy bones. So what foods? Fatty fish. What does that include? Salmon is probably going to be one of your best ones. Sardines are going to be one of your best ones. And then the other one is probably going to be mackerel. Now, a lot of people ask me about haddock. A couple people have mentioned like sole and things like that. They have a little bit of vitamin D and like a little bit of omega-3, but not very much. The other one is going to be for vitamin D. Tuna a little bit to a certain extent. Rainbow trout a little bit to a certain extent as well. Okay. So keep in mind, guys, it is tough to get vitamin D without supplementation. But we do know that there are foods out there that are going to give us the vitamin D. The calcium ones are, I'd say, probably your best bet, especially with, like, some of them will add a little bit of vitamin D to it. But fatty fish literally are one of the best food sources for vitamin D. Salmon probably being the best out of all of them. Okay. We know we don't need a ton of vitamin D, all right? But we know vitamin D is essential for bone health. And again, you don't need a ton of it. So that's why if you're eating salmon, fatty fish, things like that, then you're doing a good job getting that vitamin D in. All right. And that vitamin D is only going to be more and more helpful when you combine it with foods like dark leafy green vegetables, with nuts, with seeds, because you're adding calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, vitamin K, and vitamin D. All right. Pretty much your 5 major micronutrients. You can include zinc in there a little bit if you want. But I think the other ones are the 5 most important. We're at 29 thumbs up, guys. We are literally 1 away from the goal. If someone can smash that like, that'd make my day right now. I'll be honest. We're literally 1 away. Thank you so much, guys. I didn't see it climb all the way to 29, but you guys got it there. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So let's keep talking about with vitamin D. Again, you get it through fatty fish like salmon, and you don't have to eat a ton of salmon to get a good amount of vitamin D. Like, we're not talking about 6 ounces or anything like that. Half of that, all right, is going to give you a good source of vitamin D. But then again, you can always supplement it with a vitamin D supplement if you want. All right. And then outside, it's the sunshine. It's not known as the sunshine vitamin for nothing. We're going to get it through sunshine as well. It's very tough to get vitamin D through foods. That's why a lot of people supplement with it. And, maybe that's why it's so cheap and so easily accessible. I know I supplement with it. So let's go to our next one here, guys. All right. Let's go to beans and legumes. All right. So again, this really fits into any type of diet. It doesn't matter if you're vegan, vegetarian. This pretty much fits into all healthy diets. And the reason why I like beans so much, if you're eating a well-balanced diet, so you have healthy fats, good protein sources, beans are going to be a nice carbohydrate, but even better, they're a nice complex carbohydrate. All right. And those complex carbohydrates are the ones that we want to stick to. Carrots, lutein keeps, yes, lutein is good definitely good for eye health, sir. But yeah, beans are probably one of the best carb sources just because they're a complex carbohydrate. And remember, complex carbohydrates are the slower digesting carbohydrates. So you don't get the blood sugar spikes. You're not going to be as hungry. It's going to keep you feeling full. All right, but let's talk about how and why beans are important for bone health. I think if you're wanting to improve bone health, you really have to consider consuming beans. All right. And it can be any bean. That's the best part of it. It doesn't have to be black beans. It can be kidney beans, pinto beans, navy beans, chickpeas, any of the beans. All right. There's so many of them, even lentils. All right. Things like that. All right. And here's why. Beans, all right, have some of the best and highest levels of bone building nutrients, bone healthy micronutrients, all right, being magnesium, being calcium, and being phosphorus. All right, and they even have, good levels of other ones, maybe the five that we're not really looking at, but also good levels of zinc, good levels of copper, good levels of manganese, which can also be helpful for bone health. All right. They're just loaded with tons and tons of micronutrients, but definitely with calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus, some of the highest levels of nutrients in that, especially with magnesium. You literally need 1 cup of black beans. I think it's 1 cup, might even be a little bit less, but I know for sure 1 cup, you're getting well over your daily value or daily recommended value of magnesium. So that's just huge. Tons of magnesium in beans. They're really packed and nutrient dense with micronutrients. And beans are going to be one of those foods that are super high in a bunch of different nutrients. So not even micronutrients like fiber, protein, all of that other stuff as well. All right, all of those different healthy foods. So we already know beans are high in magnesium, which we know is one of the most important micronutrients when it comes to improving overall bone health. The often forgotten one when it comes to beans is that they're also high in calcium. All right, beans are a good source of calcium. We cannot forget that. All right. All you need is 1 cup of black beans, let's say, for instance, and you're getting almost your daily recommended value of calcium. All right, or a good portion of your daily recommended value of calcium. All right, so not only is it packed with magnesium, but calcium as well. And the best part about it is, too, you're also getting an excellent source of phosphorus. Okay, so again, anyone that's on a vegan or plant-based diet or anything like that, beans are going to be one of the more important ones for you. All right, and why? Because a good protein source, like lentils and things like that, they're going to be one of the few complete proteins where it's not coming from like chicken or meat. They're one of the more complete proteins that are out there. Same thing with flax seeds, I believe. Flax seeds may be a complete protein, but I'm not 100% sure on that. They might be missing leucine. So I'll have to check on that. So don't quote me on that, guys. I see we're still at 29 likes. Can we get to that 30? We are so close. You guys are doing such a good job. We're right almost at that 30. But yeah, with beans, magnesium, phosphorus, and calcium. And again, the important thing when it comes with calcium and magnesium, the two work they're so important because they work hand in hand. Just like vitamin K and calcium work hand in hand, magnesium and calcium work hand in hand because magnesium is going to help with the absorption of calcium into the bones specifically, strengthening the bones and increasing bone health. So keep that in mind, guys. And beans, again, it doesn't matter which kind. It can be from anything from black beans to pinto beans to even edamame, even though I would go maybe with some of the other ones. All right. Again, huge proportion of magnesium, Again, you have a cup, you're going to get your daily recommended dose of magnesium. Calcium is going to be up there as well, and phosphorus is going to be very high also. So beans, legumes like lentils, things like that, great source, excellent source of bone healthy nutrients. All right, let's go on to our next one. All right, one that's often overlooked. We already talked a little bit about vitamin D, vitamin K. All right, another one that's kind of come out a little bit as of late. It wouldn't be almost as important like as these micronutrients that we've talked about. And thank you, whoever hit 30 thumbs up there. Thank you so much, guys. We hit the 30 thumbs up there. Now I can stop talking about it and bugging you guys about it. Thank you so much for getting those 30 thumbs up there. But another one would be collagen, guys. Collagen is an important one, and I think that's why some people include vitamin C in there. So vitamin C is going to help with the absorption of collagen, and collagen can be helpful for bone health. So I think that's why some people will include vitamin C in a healthy micronutrient. I wouldn't necessarily include it in there, but some people will. All right, now we've seen in recent studies, all right, here's the important thing, what we know. All right, there's starting to be studies done and evidence that's suggesting that collagen, and remember, we want to maybe supplement with collagen, that the collagen supplements can be very helpful in protecting overall bones and protecting overall bone health, all right? Increasing bone health, protecting our bones, things of that nature. Now, why is that? It's because collagen, it's a protein, all right? So that's why it's kind of become popular, all right? People are using it as a protein. Maybe if you're not into dairy, like whey proteins or even like brown rice protein supplements. Now people are starting to use collagen, all right? But collagen is the main protein that is found in bones, all right? So obviously collagen plays a big role in bone health and bone mineral density and preventing bone-related ailments such as osteoporosis, bone mineral loss, things of that nature. So we know collagen is important, all right? Like I said, it's the main protein found in bones. All right, now also, what collagen's going to do is it's going to help build bones. All right, build strong bones. And why? Because it contains amino acids. Remember, I talked a little bit about amino acids when we were talking about beans and complete proteins and flax seeds and things like that. All right, but what collagen contains, all right, and what's important for building bone health, it contains a number of amino acids, but probably the most important ones are glycine and lysine. All right. So hard to spell those. All right, they're not really spelled the way that you think that they might. So you might have to it'd be pretty tough to Google, but if you just search amino acids, glycine and lysine, all right, we know that those are going to help build strong bones, help strengthen the bones. All right, they're needed. It's essential. All right, because we already know that collagen is the main protein found in there, and amino acids. All right. To have a complete protein, you need all of the amino acids. Amino acids are just what make up protein. Now, there's another one in there called proline. All right, proline. That one might be a little bit easier to spell. All right, it's definitely easier to pronounce if you're looking at it for the first time. All right, but glycine, lysine, and proline. All right, essential amino acids when it comes to building strong bones. All right, and even tissues. All right, so if we want to help prevent bone-related ailments, collagen can be very, very helpful in that. A lot of people know it's good for the skin, it's good for our hair. You see the commercials with, I think, Jennifer Aniston and maybe the Kardashians and all of that. But leaving that aside, we know that collagen is very important for bones. All right, it's the main protein that's found in bones. All right, and we know that it contains amino acids. I already mentioned the top three: glycine, lysine, and proline. All right, which is going to help build and strengthen our bones. All right, keep them safe. All right, prevent osteoporosis, things of that nature. So that's why I've included collagen on here as well. All right. Now, studies also look at the effects, with collagen, again, bone health for sure. All right. But the other thing, they were doing a study, an interesting study, where they were looking at joint conditions and arthritis. All right. And this is kind of interesting as well. So I'll share it with you guys. They were looking at how collagen can help with certain joint conditions like arthritis. So the symptoms of arthritis. We just talked about this in I think it might have been the last live that we did. But with swelling, these are the symptoms of arthritis, of course. Swelling, pain, stiffness, everything along that, because remember, it's joint condition. All right. But they also found in these studies where they were just looking at arthritis type symptoms, but they found that collagen had beneficial effects on bone health when it came to these joint conditions as well. So it could also possibly, there's the potential, all right, it doesn't mean that 100% will, but has the potential of helping joint conditions, all right, so bone-related conditions such as arthritis, all right, and it makes sense because, collagen is not only helpful in building bones, but also with strengthening ligaments, tissues, things of that nature as well. So collagen is one of the things that you might want to take a look at. We talked about supplementation. Vitamin D was one that perhaps maybe I would recommend. Of course, always talk to your medical practitioner. And of course, talk to your medical practitioner about the possibility of collagen in building strong bones. All right. A lot of the times we already know that collagen can be beneficial for skin and for hair and things of that nature. If you're going to take a collagen supplement, guys, and we want to really improve bone health, take it with vitamin C. Vitamin C has some benefits for bone health. Just off the top of my head, why would a list include vitamin C as an important micronutrient? Well, one, it's going to reduce inflammation, which can damage the bones and damage tissues around the bones. So I can see it being important for that. But in terms of collagen, which most people don't know, I had to do a little bit of actual research just because a client of mine wanted to take collagen. So I did a bunch of research just based on collagen and things like that. But collagen is going to be better absorbed when you pair it with vitamin C. So if you want to get the most out of collagen, take like a vitamin C supplement, or you can eat it with foods that are high in vitamin C, like broccoli or fruit or anything like that. Just keep the fruit in moderation. All right. Now, zinc. Let's go over zinc, all right? Because zinc can be important as well. And I see we're at 31 likes, guys. I think that's the most likes that we've ever had on a live stream. And again, if you guys have any questions, keep the engagement up, because it's always so nice to hear your comments as well, to read and answer your questions. Some people have been really throwing out some really good comments that I think are not only going to, help with the engagement, help with the discussion, but help other people out as well. So don't forget, copper, zinc, I'd maybe put zinc at like number 6. So maybe we should talk about zinc real quick as well. I think zinc can be important when it comes to bone health. I think your other ones like calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, phosphorus, vitamin K, I think those are going to be your main ones. Collagen to a certain extent as well. Zinc probably going to be another one that you're going to want to maybe focus on a little bit more if you're trying to improve bone health, and if you're going to want to strengthen the bones. But some of the ways that zinc is going to help is zinc promotes the formation of bone building cells. All right, so that's very important. So we always hear that some bone-related ailments. So if we're talking about improving bone health, bone mineral density loss is one of the big things, one of the big ailments that is really sort of becoming prevalent in hurting people's overall bone health. All right, and not only bone health, but bone strength. Because if you're losing if our bone mineral density is decreasing, it's almost kind of scary. I don't know if you guys ever Googled a picture or looked at like an x-ray close-up of someone who had bone mineral loss, but actually like seeing the little holes. Now, of course, it's magnified big time. So just seeing the holes is kind of shocking within the bones. But we know that zinc, all right, and this is why zinc is important and why we should probably talk about zinc just a little bit. All right, trace mineral, again, it's only needed in small amounts. You don't have to go crazy with zinc supplements or looking for foods that are super high in zinc, all right? It's a trace element. It's something that we don't need a ton of, guys. And the good thing is, if we're eating even just a little bit, if we're getting a little bit in our diet of zinc, it's going to go a long way in promoting bone health and increasing the strength of our bones. All right. So again, how is it going to help? Well, we already know that zinc is going to help promote the formation of bone building cells. And why is that so important? Is because it prevents the breakdown of bones. And when we talk about the breakdown of bones, we're talking about the loss of bone mineral density and things of that nature. We're talking about the weakening of bones. All right. It can really slow that down. All right. And there's been certain studies that show these ones use zinc supplements. Again, you don't have to go crazy with supplementing with zinc. Okay. I'm trying to think if any of I don't think I've ever taken a zinc supplement. Some people will take it for sleep and that nature. But if you're eating a healthy diet, you should be getting good levels of zinc. But if you do want to supplement with it, talk to your medical practitioner because you don't want to overdo it. There is no like button to press on my phone. That's okay, Patricia. Here is your thumbs up. Oh, I appreciate it. No worries. I think a few people are maybe watching on their phone. So thank you for pointing that out. I didn't know that. I've never actually watched a YouTube channel on my phone, but I appreciate it. There's number 33, Patricia. It counts in my book. So thank you very much. Again, appreciate it. Number 33. Again, I don't think I see 32 on my screen. Patricia just gave us 33. I don't think I've ever had that many. So thank you so much, guys. So again, the studies looked at the supplementation of zinc and just how important it was in supporting bone mineral density in older adults. So maintaining bone mineral density in older adults. So decreasing bone mineral loss. All right, and there was multiple studies done on this. So we know that zinc can be helpful in promoting the strength of our bones and promoting the health of our bones. So zinc is an important one. Again, remember I said I would probably include it as number 6, all right, on the list. All right. And so what are some foods that are high in zinc? All right. Now, if you're a meat eater, you know, some of the important ones are like beef, red meat, things of that nature are a pretty good source of zinc. If you're a seafood fan, shrimp, I think, is a good source of zinc. Same with oysters and things of that nature. But again, let's think of our vegetarians and vegan friends, because remember, this is a live that's for everybody. I don't care what diet you're on. I want to make sure that everyone has options. So if you don't eat seafood or meat or things of that nature, pumpkin seeds are a really, really good source of zinc. One of the best sources of zinc that isn't a meat. So a meat alternative, one of the best. And then another good one is actually spinach. Spinach, I'd say spinach and pumpkin seeds are your best bet for getting zinc in. Yeah, maybe I'm out of the two, I'm trying to think which one might be best, but it doesn't even matter. So you have a vegetable and you have a seed, so a healthy fat. Flax seeds, to a certain extent, have some zinc, have some pretty good zinc in them, but pumpkin seeds and spinach for sure are going to be probably your best bet for getting in zinc. All right, so if you're not a meat eater, like beef would be your best bet, but spinach and pumpkin seeds are great too. Combining them, maybe even with some flax seeds, you're going to be doing a good job getting that zinc in. Okay, and it's going to be strengthening your bones. All right, and the most important thing is not only strengthening, but helping to reduce the risk factors of bone-related ailments. All right, especially with zinc, because we know that with zinc, zinc promotes the formation of bone-building cells, which prevents the breakdown of our bones. So it prevents the breakdown. So we could I could just as easily have said with a weakening of our bones. All right, so reducing bone mineral loss, reducing the risk of fractures, everything like that. So I think zinc can be up there with the other ones. Zinc can definitely be important. And again, if you're eating those foods which I listed, then you're getting probably a good amount of zinc in your diet. But some people do supplement with zinc, and that's fine too. Just make sure you're not overdoing it. And you're very welcome, Kim. My pleasure. Gloria, welcome to the chat. Thank you so much for coming in. You guys are crushing it with the 32 likes. Is it morning? Where are you from, Gloria? If I may ask. I see you said good morning there. I've been asking everyone in chat where they're from. And it's just been very interesting for me to learn just where all over the world people are coming in from. So it's very interesting to me. So remember, guys, and again, I just want to point this out because it's also important, and I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't point this out. If you want to strengthen the bones and keep the bones healthy, all right, we have to make sure that we're having good lifestyle changes as well. All right. Now, it's not always the easiest topic, but if if there's obesity, all right, that's gonna lead to bone-related ailments, all right, or at least increase the risk of bone-related ailments. So you want to maintain a good, healthy weight, or you want to make sure that you're not sedentary, so getting some movement in. And again, the movement does not have to be intense. It can be a walk. I would try to get in some resistance training. Again, we talked about you don't have to be getting into the gym and lifting dumbbells and barbells and all that stuff. All right, you can easily do resistance training with bands and things of that nature. It's one of the best things that you can do for your bones. It's going to help improve so much. Oh, from Georgia. Okay. From the south there. I'm sorry, it's afternoon here. No worries. Afternoon here as well, Gloria. Welcome. And no worries, Cassie. It's okay. No worries that you're a little late. I'm surprised that even on a Wednesday getting here. I know Wednesdays sometimes some people are busy, but today's chat has been fairly full. Like we've had the most thumbs up I've seen. You guys are just continuing to pour in with your nice comments, telling me where you guys are from. Engagement's been great, so no problems whatsoever, Cassie. Welcome as always. But again, we need to consider, we listed so many foods there, guys. This might be one of the ones you want to go back and rewatch just because of all the different foods that we talked about. Focusing on those micronutrients. Remember, the best ones, calcium, probably the most studied one, probably the one that you want to give the most consideration to when it comes to micronutrients, bone strength and bone health. The other one being vitamin D, so very important. Again, you can supplement with that. Just make sure you talk to your medical practitioner how much you should be getting, because you'll see videos, you'll see lists that, the numbers are all over the place. So talk to your medical practitioner. Magnesium, phosphorus, and vitamin K. And then if we were to throw in some other ones, which we talked about, collagen, make sure you pair it up with a vitamin C so it can increase the absorption rate. And then zinc. Zinc can be another important one, just to help with increasing bone mineral density and preventing bone mineral density loss and things like osteoporosis and the weakening of bones and all that stuff that we're not wanting. all the things that are going to lead to weakening of bones and not improving bone health, having the opposite effect. Oh, you're very welcome, Gloria. And you're very welcome, Tammy. No problem. My pleasure. My pleasure, guys. It's always a pleasure talking with you all. Especially on this topic. I think this is a really important topic with bone health, just because, like I mentioned to you guys just at the very beginning, we're seeing in studies now just how many people are dealing with bone-related issues, whether it be osteoporosis, whether it be bone mineral density loss. I mean, it's just going up and up and up. And I said some of my own reasons why I thought that was happening. All right, just with lifestyle changes, with a lack of micronutrients, just the types of foods that we're eating. One of the big ones, and that's why I said I'd be doing you a disservice if we didn't talk about obesity. I know it can be a tough topic for some people, but we already know with obesity rates rising, all right, we already know that obesity is going to negatively affect bone strength and bone health. So with obesity rates rising, that's where we get the correlation between a weakening of bones, all right, and a decrease in bone health, all right? So increased risk factors for osteoporosis, increased risk factors for bone mineral density loss, for fractures, for all those different things. And usually when it comes to obesity, we're usually not getting in the most micronutrients, especially these important ones where it comes to bone health. Louise, sorry, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's 2:13 here. Balmy and nice. Nice, I like that. I hope we get it. I hope we start getting some of that weather, I'll be honest. Thank you for the information. I needed this. Good reminder of good foods to keep on the table. My pleasure. My pleasure, absolutely. It's always a pleasure, like I said. And you know what? Even a good reminder is always nice. Learning something different is always super nice too. And like I said, researching this topic, as I was just pointing out, with like the obesity rates rising and bone ailments rising, we see the rise with pretty much everything with these bone-related ailments. And so I thought it was a really good topic to discuss, and one that kind of needs to be discussed because, we're starting to live longer. We're living longer now, all right? I don't know what the exact number is, but it's like 83, 85. All right, we have people who are dealing with bone-related issues, so bone mineral density loss, osteoporosis, at a young age. And by a young age, I mean in their 50s and 60s and early 70s. All right, that is now young, guys. And it's never too late to make these changes. People think once they hit 40 or once they hit 50, a lot of the times they kind of just will give in and think it's too late or they can't make the changes, but it's never too late to make the changes. Just like we were talking about arthritis last time, you can change things in an acute manner. So what I mean by that is chronic would be long term, acute is in the short term. Or if you're starting to add all these foods in and getting in these micronutrients, although you might not be able to reverse completely, all right, bone mineral loss and things like that, you can continue to prevent it from getting worse. And you can prevent the worsening of osteoporosis or prevent it altogether. All right, and I think that's why it's so important sometimes to have that discussion with your medical practitioner. But it is never too late to start making the changes. That's one major thing that I want you guys to take away. And that's why I throw so many foods at you guys, because I know not everyone drinks milk or has dairy products. So we listed a bunch of dairy products, like just off the top of my head: milk, yogurt, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, low-fat cheese, all that different type of stuff. All right, I know not everyone is a big fan of that, and people think that's the only way to get calcium. But as you guys saw, there was calcium in all of the nuts that we mentioned. I think there was like 5. All of the seeds that we mentioned, again, 5, 6. And even the ones that we didn't mention, there's going to be calcium in those. The dark leafy green vegetables, super high in calcium. It's an amazing way to add calcium, magnesium, phosphorus to your diet. So just remember, that's why I think it's so important not only is it important to just slowly add these foods into your diet, you don't have to add them all at once. I wouldn't expect that from any of the clients that I work with. I wouldn't even expect it of myself. I don't even know if that's possible to add all of these ones in. You probably wouldn't want to. But slowly start to add these foods in. All right. Take some of the foods, all right, that are unhealthy out, and then start making the changes today. And then if you just add one a week, just think of where you're going to be 2, 3, 6 months from now. All right. Especially when it comes to bone health. That's always something that I like to point out as well. All right. You don't have to make the change today or the change tomorrow. All right. It can be a week by week basis. All right. And I think that's really important. All right. So don't worry about, if you're you don't have any of these foods in your diet, or, you might think that you're a little bit low and you think you might need to use supplementation. Just start adding them week by week. Same thing with the lifestyle changes. If you're not getting, I always will get messages sometimes, people worried that they're not getting 150 minutes of regular exercise per week. Well, this week, shoot for, say you're starting at 0, shoot for 30 minutes and then go for 60, and then slowly start to build up into that 150 range, and then you're good to go. Same thing. Don't be scared to get some resistance bands and get some resistance training in there. Again, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that if we want to improve bone health, resistance training can definitely help in that with that factor. We've seen multiple studies, even more. There's been like tens, if not hundreds of studies that show resistance training can help with bone health. All right, and strengthening the bones. That's why it's so important. And again, I've worked with clients that are in their late 70s, closing in on 80s with resistance training. And again, it's never too late. It's never too late to start. So even if with resistance training, we're not even talking about diet right now. All right, diet seems like the easy thing, but just with a little bit of resistance training, you can make all the difference. So again, I think this was a really important topic. Just make sure, again, keep the diet healthy, and then, just remember, do the best you can. That's all you can do. Do the best you can. And if you're doing that, then you're already probably going to be winning, because if you're trying your best, you're adding in these foods, then you're probably already doing a good job. All right, and especially if you're taking out some of the foods that aren't going to be as helpful. So I hope the chat was helpful to you guys. Like I said, I put up that poppy seed video today. I thought that was a really interesting one. It's not quite often that you'll see me do a video on a topic on like a really sort of niche seed, like poppy seeds. Sorry. So I think an interesting one to do next might be like a sesame seed or something like that. I've kind of like doing these ones where there's not a ton of information out there, or people are able to learn something from these videos, just like you are from the live chats. So maybe like sesame seeds might be a good one, something along those lines. But I think you guys will find the poppy seed video helpful. Wow, 35 thumbs up. I just see it right now, guys. Thank you so much for everyone for thumbing the video up. 35 is definitely a new record on the channel. So I've never seen 30 and 36. Thank you so much, guys. And you know what? We're gonna keep these lives going. You guys have done such a good job supporting not only the channel, but with the discussions as well. It's been really, really fun coming in here. I believe I do, Tammy. If you search the videos on high blood pressure, just search high blood pressure, you'll probably find a video, something along the lines of high blood pressure. I'd be surprised if I didn't. It might be an older video. I might not be talking in it. It might be ones where I listed the foods and was putting it up that way. That could be a whole discussion right there. We talked about heart health. But yeah, blood pressure. A blood pressure discussion could be its own topic. And again, that's one of the ones. Those are the issues, like the chronic diseases and stuff like that, like heart health. I think, Tammy, maybe even watching the live stream on heart health would be really beneficial to you, because when we talk about heart health, we talk a ton about blood pressure in that live stream. And you're very welcome, Gloria. You're very welcome, Mrs. D.L. Lieberman, 360. Nice to see you in here. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. My pleasure. Yes, on blood pressure. Blood pressure might be an interesting one to talk about. Have a few clients like that. But yeah, take a look. And if you guys are interested in blood pressure, at least start out watching the live stream that's on heart health, because I go over a number of foods that talk about decreasing blood pressure. It was a big topic in heart health, obviously, because that's one of the risk factors for heart disease, right? So we were talking about limiting risk factors and lowering risk factors of heart disease. So definitely blood pressure was talked about quite a bit in that one, just because it's such a big risk factor for heart disease in general. So maybe give that one a watch if you're interested in the heart health videos. But man, I feel like sometimes I can just chat all day with you guys about nutrition and everything like that. But it's been really fun for me with these live streams. The reason why I think I like them so much is because I've been doing the videos for so long now. There's thousands of videos that are up on the channel. I think we're approaching 5,000 videos or something like that. And this has been such a nice way, because I see the comments, and then I can type a comment back to you, or I can read a comment. But this way you can actually hear my voice responding to you. You can actually respond to me in real time. I think it just makes it so much more fun for me. Rather than just typing words on a computer screen, we can actually have a discussion where we can talk in real time, which is nice. And the other nice thing that I have to point out, the last couple of times we got that no signal. As you noticed today, we had our nice little picture thrown up there for the whole entire time. I said last time I thought I knew how to fix it, and it looks like I might have. Watch me jinx it, and it'll go to no signal here right at the very end. But I think I fixed it. At some point, maybe you guys will even get my face. Who knows? I think that would be a big deal. I saw it, but I will go see it later. I eat poppy seeds. Oh, okay, interesting. In the salad dress, yes. A lot of people add it to salads and stuff like that. I saw that mentioned quite a bit. Important. I want to know about foods that can help keep thyroids healthy. Interesting. Look at Brazil nuts. Look at maybe Brazil nuts as well. And again, medical practitioner for sure. Yeah, it is. It's been a lot of videos. Definitely a lot of videos. I think we're almost, like I said, we're closing at 5,000 or something like that. Because not only are we closing in on daily videos, but also just putting up these weekly videos now. So we're almost getting up 10 videos every single week. So, over the course of a year, that's a lot of videos that end up going up. And sometimes I'll throw up random ones as well. So it's good for you to be eating on a regular basis. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, my pleasure, Tina. My pleasure as always. Thank you guys so much. Well, I'm glad you think so, Kim, especially talking for almost 2 hours. I think if you guys found my voice annoying or it wasn't the greatest or something like that, it might be a little bit tough to listen to, I think, at times. But I'm glad you think so, and hopefully everyone else would agree. But it's funny. I'm glad that sometimes it can. Some people, it might be a little bit more unpleasant to hear, but I've gotten good feedback on the voice, at least on the microphone, the quality of the voice and everything like that. So I appreciate that, Kim. Am I Dr. Berg? No, I'm not, sir. Thank you for the compliment, though. I am not Dr. Berg. I can guarantee you that. No, I am not. Mahala. Thank you for coming in. Good to see you in chat. Thank you so much for coming in here. I appreciate it. Great and calming. Well, good. I appreciate that. That's kind of the effect that I'm going for. I like to kind of get my point across, but I don't want to be like yelling or overbearing with anything or anything like that. I kind of want to. I like getting the message across while kind of keeping a calm manner as well. On the lymphatic system care, I know I have a video on the lymphatic system, Cassie. There's definitely a video on the lymphatic system. I'm not sure if it has to do 100% with care, but I'm sure within that video, I do talk about lymphatic care. The lymphatic system would actually be a really good discussion to talk about. See, this is why it's good. This is why I like the engagement, because you guys are giving me ideas for live chats. Maybe that would be a good discussion, because there's very little. A lot of people don't necessarily know too much on the lymphatic system, so that might be an interesting topic to talk about, and care and everything like that. Love your voice. It sounds great. I'm in the Caribbean. Oh, okay. Awesome. Well, I'm sure you guys have great voices too. Kim, I love your voice. Well, thank you so much, guys. You guys are too kind with the compliments on the voice. Thank you so much. And that's so funny, sir, asking if I'm Dr. Berg. That's hilarious. I haven't watched too many of Dr. Berg's videos, but I think just doing a foods channel, and just because I'm kind of doing videos on foods and things like that, I do tend to get them recommended to me from time to time. But so I find that really funny that's probably one of the only doctors or other food channels that I know about. I literally don't watch any other food channels, just in case you guys were wondering, which is kind of there's just, I'm trying to think of any that I watch, and I just read. I literally just read read on food. I don't watch any food videos unless it's a documentary. There's no like YouTube food channels or anything like that. I'm more of like a reader. So that's where I get my information and stuff like that. It's just kind of like a passion for me. So, and I enjoy doing it like that. But again, I don't have a ton of time to sit down and watch videos, especially with researching the videos, editing everything, coming on here. I don't know. There's not a lot of food channels where people will come on and actually do a live and be able to talk about things, not in person, but live, and answer questions back and forth. I don't know if there's a lot of channels that do that, but like I said, after doing this channel and researching for 8 years, maybe even close to 9 years now, it's something that, I really like doing and spreading the knowledge. And like even just with bone health today, talking about starting out with the micronutrients and just how important that is. So, it was a really fun stream for me today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. You were able to learn something from it. It's funny, if you ask if there's a video, like Cassie and Tammy or anyone else asks if there's a certain video, go to the video section. I would give it a quick search, and I'm sure that there's something on it. There's just so many videos on the channel at this point. I wouldn't be surprised, but if there isn't, then that's something that I can definitely make a video on, or we can do a live stream on. I think it's great ideas. I think both of the ideas, or maybe even another video that someone else had mentioned, would not only make a good video, but also a really good live discussion. Like the lymphatic system would make a really good live discussion. I think. But just overall health in general. I like talking about these overall health, like bone health, heart health, arthritis, things like that, just because I know so many people are going through them now. And especially being as sedentary as we are now, with lockdowns and all of that stuff. So diet is playing a bigger role now, more so than ever. So like I said, we've been going for pretty much 2 hours here, guys. Hard to believe. 2 hours talking about strengthening our bones and improving bone health. Hard to believe, but it's such an important topic. It's nice talking with you guys. I really felt like this was one that I really wanted to give a lot of attention to. Again, you probably know a family member or a friend or someone who's dealing with some sort of bone ailment, or, even if it's an early onset, it might not be osteoporosis, or it could be bone mineral loss or anything like that. I think a lot of people are going through that right now. So I really wanted to make sure that I gave my best during this live chat, and I gotta say, I'm really happy with how it went. So you guys made it awesome, I have to say. And I think the Dr. Berg question was the icing on the cake. And thank you for all the comments on the voice. I'm glad it's coming out clear, and it's pleasant to listen to, because if it wasn't, I'm sure you guys wouldn't be sticking around for 2 hours. So you guys have an awesome day. Thank you, Kim. You as well. Have an awesome day. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Thank you, Tina. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone else in chat. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your comments. Really appreciate it. Thank you for watching all of the videos and for leaving. I can't think of another channel where I can go back the next day and then find close to 100 thumbs up and no thumbs down on. So you guys are supporting the channel like crazy. And that's just a great feeling, because it's telling me that you guys are appreciating the information that's getting out there. Happy Cinco de Mayo, sir, to you as well. Happy Cinco de Mayo. That's right, May 5th. Gloria, thank you so much. Thank you. My pleasure. Have an awesome day. Thank you for everything. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much, guys. In for a few years now. Wow. That's awesome. That's great to hear. I'm glad you got the notification. Sometimes people don't get the notifications for my videos. I have a couple people who I've been asking, but it's quite interesting. Sometimes even with the bell clicked, the videos aren't going out to everyone, but I'm glad you guys are getting the notifications for these live chats. Eat your dandelions. That's funny, sir, because I just did a video on dandelion tea not too long ago. So interesting that you say that. But thanks so much, guys. We'll end it there. I don't want to talk your ear off. Thank you to everyone that's going to be listening. I'll make sure I put this video up for you guys so everyone can give it a listen. And thank you so much for all the support. We will be back on Sunday. We'll think of an interesting topic to discuss then. And we'll just continue with the live chats. Like I said, these aren't going to stop. The videos aren't going to stop. We're going to keep going. We're going to get as much healthy information out there as we can, and have nice discussions, and loving the community, loving the support. Thank you so much, guys. Like I said, we'll end it here, and can't wait for Sunday's stream. And I'll make sure I set the reminder. That way you guys know exactly when we're going to start. Our start time, and then we'll see how long we go from there. And thank you for subscribing, Kim. Really appreciate that. So thank you, guys. I will talk with you on Sunday. Thank you, Gloria. And I will make sure that I'll get up another video. I had a video idea. I'll save it for you. I won't spoil it. Yeah, 40 likes. I know. I cannot believe it. I'm looking at it right now and seeing 40, and you guys crushed it today. And on a Wednesday, even more impressive, because a lot of people are working right now, or they're not able to get on. So the fact that we had 40 thumbs up, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. And it was all you guys. I don't think I really mentioned it a few times, but after 30, I don't know if I said it again, and you guys brought it all the way up to 40. So that's all thanks to you guys and the awesome support. I'm telling you, it's a great community. I'm really proud of this community, and we're just going to keep it rolling. So I cannot wait for Sunday. It's going to be another awesome chat. A lot of good information. Always the best that I can give to you guys. So again, thank you so much for watching the videos. Thank you for coming into the live stream, and thank you so much for the support. And I can't wait until Sunday, and I can't wait to give you another video tomorrow. So thank you, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will talk to you live on Sunday, and I will see you in the comments on the daily video.